What's up, everyone? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today I got a great guest. His name is Mac Mock. He's a real estate investor. He invests in stocks, but most importantly, he invests in himself. He's big on energy. He's big on setting the right expectations and intentions for life, as well as always making sure that he's present and doing the best he can to love himself and promote good energy across the world. So I really appreciate him. It was a blessing getting to talk with him. I think you all enjoy where the conversation goes. And as always, keep going. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like the guests have a lot to offer too. Because it was still mutual when we were meeting just at the coffee shop or wherever. Mm-hmm. But I'm always surprised with like what you get from somebody. It's kind of crazy. Because you will give me some game and I'm just like, dang, I never thought of that. Uh-huh. Or it may be something that you're struggling with. I'm like, oh, someone else is struggling. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's not just me or thinking why me or something. Or if it's on the positive side, you're like, okay, well, that's motivating. Yeah. So I just figured it would be best to share those other sides of folks too. Because everyone does their own interactions. Right. But to hear you talk for an hour or something like that, I feel like gives a good insight to somebody.
100%.
I mean,
I think just the days we're in now, like people crave just authentic conversation and it's like relatable conversation because like with AI, with everything that's going on, it's getting very robotic. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of have to choose a side. Like you want to move on the side with everything that's, mechanical, or you want to be organic and natural, that type of thing. So
it cracks me up too because sometimes there'll be stuff you'll listen to that you enjoy, but it's almost robotic too in nature. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, dang, like I knew he was about to ask that question, but now I kind of knew the answer I was going to get. When you're getting like a certain type of, not staged, but just where it's like too rehearsed or something like that. That's why I've enjoyed meeting the range of folks. It's because it's always someone real different from the last person. Like I wouldn't even thought for us to meet and have coffee if we wouldn't have ran into each other again. It was like the second or third time we crossed each other naturally. And it's like, I know you, right? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Because it was just, what's wild is I was just dog sitting at a friend's house. I'm never downtown. Okay. And that one Saturday, I'm go over there kicking the soccer ball and then play basketball and you're there.
And it's funny, bro. Like, I didn't even realize it was you.
Me either.
Like, I was used to seeing you, I think, with like a hat or like with something. And I didn't notice until afterwards. I was talking with John A. and she was like, that was Zach. I was like, okay.
Oh, so you said you knew me, but you just were kind of with it. Like you recognized me, but you could.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was funny too because I was already kind of shooting with them and then you walked up and then it was 3-on-3 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But it was instant like, hold on, I think I kind of know you from somewhere, but I didn't even know. But I had got introduced to you through real estate and then you were like, yeah, I'm getting into it, but I do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. You seem to have like a bunch of hustles and that's a good thing. Yeah. Especially because I see you breaking them down into certain times too. Right. But then you said you're getting in real estate, and then I just saw you moving real quick, so it was pretty cool.
Man, it was definitely divine timing. Because I mean, when did that happen? That was like
last summer.
Last summer?
Yeah, it was like June or something.
Okay, yeah, that's like right when I first started working with Tez. Actually, mm-hmm. I was still kind of new, you know what I mean? But
because that's when we saw each other at a couple events too. Other than the first time I met you in the basketball, like. Maybe one or two other events of flippers and all of that. Yep. So I was like, man, we keep coming across each other and only get to talk for 5 minutes, but it's real genuine. And then we met and had coffee and I was like, oh, well, now we're just locked in. I appreciate that you can get that common ground with someone and then just be locked in from then on as far as for business or personal. Absolutely. It makes it so much better. Yeah. Like when I call a lender or someone like you, if it was either you wholesaling a deal to me or vice versa or something on the realtor side, whatever it may be, it is already easier. Because all we do is talk on the phone, any type of real estate that you're in, you're always going to be on the phone. Yeah. But being able to call and already have the ice broken every time is pretty convenient, I think, in this. Because I didn't know how fast everyone would get collaborative. Because now I'm closing deals with people that we all know or vice versa. And it seems to be a lot more frequent than maybe 3-4 years ago.
Gotcha.
And then you started a year ago.
Right.
So you're seeing just like a culture of collaborating.
Yeah. I guess I kind of came in with the shift. It's pretty dope, honestly. I feel like it's an ecosystem that's been created. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful to be a part of it, honestly.
What got you into real estate in general? Because I know you were around Tez, but like, what made you pull the trigger?
Man, so I first like kind of fell into wholesaling around like 2020, around the COVID time.
Okay.
Me and John we were just both like researching because she was getting her license at the time. And we just kind of, or I would say for myself, like I was like getting analysis paralysis. I was just like studying, but wasn't really putting as much action as I would have preferred to. Not preferred to, but because I know everything has like its own divine timing. So I trust in that. But that was just kind of like the origin of it. And then from there, I want to say I was just kind of doing my own thing solo dolo. Well, both of us at the same time. But I want to say like, what was it? Around February time, that was when I got like my first deal, and I was like, okay, cool. You know, this thing is real.
So did you door knock, or what'd you do to get it?
Man, mostly for that one, bro.
Yeah, for your first one, because I gotta know, like, if you're just doing it on your own, like, how'd you get your first one?
Yeah, no, it's actually a crazy story. Before that, I was just kind of doing a whole bunch of different things. Like, you know, we would drive around, driving for dollars. We do that at first.
So would you write down the addresses and then look them up on Skip Trace and call them, or would you door knock too?
We would drive around, just write down the addresses, like a whole bunch, like 20 to 30 every day. And then true people search. We just look them up and then call them. But mind you, at that time, we weren't thinking like, okay, or not even weren't thinking, but we were mostly focused on like the east side of Oklahoma. And like a lot of people there are more renters than owners. So it was tough getting in contact with actual,
tenants. Landlords instead of the tenant. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the tenant, since there are so many tenants, sometimes there's a bunch of numbers. Yeah. Maybe like 13 numbers.
Exactly.
And you were calling them yourself?
Okay. We both would. And so, fast forward, just trying different things. Was on MLS. I had got a contract, or I had tried to wholesale on market deal. You know what I mean? And I got it locked up too high and everything, and it was tough, bro. So I had to cancel that. But
you learned early then.
Yeah. I was so excited because I got one under contract, but. Little down there, I was like, way off.
It's funny because at least like you were going to get them under contract, because that's literally, you're like, oh, were you thinking of doing a podcast for a while? It's like, no, I had to just rip the Band-Aid off. And then you're like, oh, I want to get a deal. And then you just got one. And then you got something else. And then you're wrapping them up on market. So even that is steps ahead. I mean, how long was that training time before you got that first one?
Man, so after that on market deal, my next I guess big break was like a JV deal with somebody that was out of state, but they had a deal locked up in Tulsa.
Okay.
And so this was a big one too. Like this, like ARV was probably like 400, 500K, and everything was cool, bro. Like we got the buyer set up or I have found the buyer.
You were doing just the dispo side?
Yeah, just the
okay,
dispo
cool,
side.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was my first time getting one.
How'd you get your buyers?
Just Facebook.
So you just posted on there like, I got a Tulsa deal?
Exactly.
And shared it to groups?
Exactly. Yeah. The tried and true method.
Yeah, the tried and true. It's so hilarious that you can do that. And that was based off of training with Tez and stuff, or were you looking all this up on your own? Because I feel like, yes, that's obvious, but it's usually the simple things that push you further on that. And sometimes like all of us fall short on remembering the basics.
No, for real. And so that was like, cause he did his class, like his first like ever class. I want to say it was like September of that year. I think. It was
that is
21. I think, or I can't remember the year, but
I think 22.
Yeah.
Cause this is 24. So
right,
22.
Right. That's right.
Okay, sorry, I get confused.
Man, I might be keeping track of time. Bro, to be honest,
you can't let it get all to you.
Yeah. And so, I went to his class and everything, and, funny story, that was like his first course and everything like that. And he was like, I gotta, sell with the woo, that whole thing. I was like, all right, this is pretty much all the money I have at the moment. I went ahead and got it, you know what I mean? And just went through the course, got all the information and started applying it. And so that led up to what was it?
Getting that second big break to Tulsa.
Yeah, the Tulsa one. And so man, that one, that was like a 10K spread on my end. The module was a JV because the other guy was gonna get 10, I was gonna get 10.
But still, that's a big lump sum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And so yeah, bro, I was so excited.
How long did it take to close when you wrapped it up with the buyer?
Man,
a while. It was a long one.
Man, so we got it under contract. I want to say end of December.
Okay,
and we're supposed to close end of January.
Okay,
and so yeah, everything's going good. It's getting this inspection done, going through that whole process and stuff like that. And we're a few days away from closing. And basically, without going into details, the buyer ends up falling out at the last minute. And so literally the last days before closing type deal, I was doing my best to try to just, try to make something work, and it didn't. And so at that point, bro, I was literally at a point of just all right, forget wholesaling. I'm they're going to focus on something else, but Janae, she was like, no, you can't give up. You didn't put so much energy and time into it. And so I was like, all right, you're right. So literally that next day, I make a Facebook post. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for, beat up homes, that type of post. And a friend from high school, he reaches out to me, and his girlfriend's grandma has a house that they're looking to sell. And then that ends up being my first deal.
Okay.
So literally the day after that, bro.
So you had two deals fall through?
Yes.
Dang, two good deals fall through before you got the first one.
Yeah.
And then that one you wholesaled and made your spread and moved on?
Exactly, yeah.
Closed normally?
JV deal and everything.
Oh, it was a JV?
Yeah. Somebody else had found the buyer, and we were able to get it all, closed out. But yeah, bro, I was just
So within a short amount of time, you did get a good crash course because you saw buyers fall out. You did acquisition and disposition. So you were already getting a little bit of a lot early on. Right. So after that first one, then you start getting them regularly, or is it one a month, or what was your
Man, so after that, we ended up closing on that one in February, and then in March, that's when I started working with Tez.
Oh, okay.
I got one contracted with him, just I was a student at the time, type of thing, and after that,
well, then after you got your third deal, or that first deal after those three, then it was just you were on. I didn't know that timeline lined up. Then it was just game time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now you can't even keep count of which ones.
Exactly.
This month was good. Yeah. This month was good. This is better.
Man, for real.
Congrats.
Real. Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
But you do other stuff too, right?
Yes.
So you do, is it day trading?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I was curious about that. So that's something that takes consistency.
Man. Yeah.
What, is that something you do daily, or
so
is that a daily job? I don't know much about it.
Right. So day trading, option trading, you can do that from Monday through Friday. That's when the stock market is open. Well, the way that I trade off of the stock market itself, which is open from 8:30 to 3 p.m. Okay. But they also have, Forex, which is different exchange currencies.
Yeah.
They have crypto, which you can do basically at all times. You know what I mean? So it just kind of depends which one you want to get into.
Which one do you prefer?
The stock market.
Okay. So the currency one is when you're trying to come up on the conversions?
Essentially, I haven't dived too much into it.
So you just stayed focused on what worked for you.
Exactly.
So, and that's moving stocks, seeing something that's low and being able to buy it and dispo it?
Essentially, yes. Okay. Essentially, yes. It gets a little bit more detailed than that, because it's
run me through it.
And so how it works, bro, is you're basically, so you have one contract that you have, okay, and that relates to 100 shares of a company.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, Apple.
Okay.
So say I want to buy a contract of Apple, expecting for it to go up in price that day or in a couple of days, whatever. Then
so day trading is not always just that day. It could be a few days.
So they have different types of trading. That's the thing. You could do intraday trading, which is within the day of 8:30 to 3. They have what's called just regular day trading, which is maybe a day or two, and then you have swing trading, which is in a couple of days to a couple of weeks type of thing.
Okay.
So it really just kind of essentially the same with real estate. You know what I mean? You got long-term rentals, short-term rentals, that type of deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is that why wholesaling kind of seemed like an easy transition? And now you can balance both because it's a similar concept?
I wouldn't, I mean, I was able to make it work for me easy. I was, or not easy, but with experience. Okay. And so, yeah. But I will say, like, it definitely has its similarities for sure. Yeah.
But the day trading, that would be more just you doing your thing on a laptop.
Yeah.
Were you always good at talking to people? Because going into wholesaling, like, yes, it's a lot of moving property around, but at the end of the day, it's like super sales with the clients, because you really have to have a good skill set to balance both sides of the transaction, because buyers and sellers can be very different from each other, and you're managing multiple in a transaction. You were always good at that, or like,
man,
I feel like that's something I had to work on.
No, it's definitely something I had to work on.
Okay.
I was like growing up the shy kid that never talked. You know what I mean? And then what really got me out of my shell was DJing. So when I went to college, I started DJing.
You went to OU, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So DJing, so that's a busy job there, because you got all those parties and stuff, those events, like the sororities and stuff, fraternity.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I got started. Funny story with that. So I would, when I first started, I had my board and that was it. I didn't have any speakers or anything.
Okay.
But OU, you can rent out speakers for free. So I rent out speakers and then charge them for, having me come as a DJ for them and stuff. So I thought that was always
so always on the entrepreneur side.
Yeah. I like, cause to kind of even get into that, my dad, he had like an inflatable like jump house business.
Yeah.
When I was kids up until when I graduated.
Okay.
And so that's always been something that's kind of like been on the side, the forefront. You know what I mean? Like, work for yourself.
You always saw that part.
Thing. Yeah, but it didn't really like hit me until after I got out of college, because I was just DJing because I enjoyed it. I was making money,
So you're doing it without noticing that you were doing it, because you were doing the exact same thing, especially smarter too, because you were basically, getting that equipment for free and then doing that. So that's even better.
Yeah. It's so funny, like looking back, like I never just saw it as a business. You know what I mean? I just saw it as like something I enjoyed doing. People enjoyed that or people enjoyed me DJing and stuff like that. Yeah. I just, it made sense.
And then when you get out of college, you go into the day trading, then into real estate, and then balance them. Is that like the trajectory, or what'd you get into right out of college?
So right after college, I was actually working at Paycom.
Okay.
I worked at Paycom for about 1.5 years until COVID happened. And then after COVID, or between COVID, I guess you would say like 2019, 2020 range. That's when like I fired my job and I was just like, I'm gonna do it, work with myself and just, figure it out.
And then that's when all this multiple streams started happening.
Exactly.
What about, I think we briefly talked about it before, but what about the health side? Because you're really health conscious, and not even just with, we'll start with your diet, but then I want to go into your mentality too, because you're even really strict with like the words you use and stuff. Absolutely. But on the food side, you said you grew up not that way. Was it in college you just made the switch, or what made you make a switch to being, because you're vegan now?
Yeah, plant-based.
Plant-based, and I mean, that's discipline. I mean, to be that sound with your diet. But I know it's hard when we're growing up because we'll just eat whatever. Yeah. Chicken strips, candy, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I was definitely that way growing up. Like, was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with cheese on it. Like,
oh, yeah.
What are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I don't even want to get into my snacks. Yeah, I never thought about it.
Just eating whatever was in there and just making it look good.
Yeah, but, making it work.
Yeah. But I want to say we ate pretty balanced for the most part growing up. Like we would eat out and stuff, but my dad, he would cook and we would have like boiled balanced meals. You know what I mean? So I was like a little used to it for the most part. And then I had I dipped my toe into being vegetarian in college, but I was like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
So I went back to just like eating meat and seafood and stuff like that, because like seafood was the main thing for me at first when I was first getting into the plant-based lifestyle. But after a while, it just bro. Like once I got that knowledge of like how those types of food affect us. It was hard for me to ever go back. You know what I mean? And so Yeah, it took a minute though to like truly like transition over, but yeah, after for me, like once I'm able to have my mind stuck on something, then I'm good to go.
Man, because I felt like when I first started eating healthier, like you would think stuff just didn't taste good or something, but that part doesn't last long. Like you'd think it would take a while, but it's only a couple weeks.
It's crazy,
like if anything. Like, and now it's, oh, I like all these veggies. And I grew up liking veggies, but not like simple veggies. Like I'll be happy. Like before you got here, I had a snack and it was literally like cherry tomatoes and cucumbers, and I just loved it.
Just by itself.
Yeah, well, a little lemon and then some crackers, but I would have never thought to eat that on the regular. I'd be like, well, let me just grab a burger and then move on. Yeah. But like you'd be surprised at how quick it changes over. Because I know sometimes that's probably something that holds people back. Like my dad used to be like 8-packed out, and now he's like more on the unhealthy side. And he's like, I'm not eating that. That's gross. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But so you switch it over in college, you try the vegetarian, doesn't work, then you move on. So now that you're on the plant-based, now what differences do you see in yourself? Like energy levels, or like, why do you do it? That type of thing. Because I think people need to know more than just, oh, I like to eat healthy. Because people don't really understand that it can help you mentally. And
man, it's crazy, bro. Like, so I would say the first part of it was just the benefits that it brought my body. So, so I tore my ACL 3 times, twice in my right knee, once in my left knee in high school.
Ugh.
Yeah. And, like after going plant-based, bro, like I'll be hooping like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be running up and down the court, no pain in my knees.
Just all that inflammation gone.
Literally, bro. It's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's, a part of it. But that like energy levels will be like, yeah, I don't like, I say this humbly, but like I don't get tired. You know what I mean? Like I have to kind of like make myself go to sleep.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Mentally.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Because I'm not just plant-based. I like to say I'm plant-forward because I majority eat plants, but I still eat wild game and like plant-forward is what I am. Because like I said, wild game or fish we catch or certain quality that we buy. Right. Like I buy local stuff. Okay. But I played around with a lot of it too. So when I first got into MMA, it was like, okay, well, let me try vegetarian. And it's like, no, I got to go vegan because when you're trained, it's weird. Like you eat a certain way and you have certain abilities. But then like on the vegan side, what I noticed is the recovery time was just so fast. Yeah. So for me, it didn't work long term because it was more of a short term energy. For like that long duration, my body seemed to react better to other things. Okay. But when I was training 3 times a day and stuff and eating vegan, I like wouldn't be hurting. You wouldn't have tight hips or things like that. Yeah. For me, it started being tougher to, like I said, have long-term energy, but that was just for me. Okay. That's why I started mixing in like that high quality meat that I would eat. Gotcha. So it's not just anything. It's like specific. Intentional. But I noticed like how quick the recovery was. And then when you were saying the sleep, I never thought that like that's what I've been doing. Because recently, the last couple months, that's how it's been for me. I'm like staying up and then I want to go to sleep at a certain time. I'm like, okay, now is a good time. Gotcha. So I never thought my diet was taking part in that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that you can shut it off. That's interesting.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And I'll say like everyone's body is different too. You know what I mean? So like I would say it depends on just like what region your ancestors are from, that type of thing too. That plays a big part.
Where are your ancestors from?
Man, so I'm learning. I'm definitely learning, bro. Okay. I'm definitely learning. But just based off of what I have learned, bro, I know that like my people originate from, Africa. Yeah. And so ancient Kemet, that's another term for it. But okay. They were primarily plant-based people, you know what I mean? And just being able to tap into that, like you'll naturally have like a feeling of like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to eat. Yeah. Because it'll feel right. You know what I mean? So
it's funny because I'm Native American and my tribes would eat a lot of like squashes and pumpkin and things like that because it was easy to grow. Yeah. And my wife had grown butternut squash 2 years ago for the first time. Gotcha. I came home from hunting. I didn't get anything. But she was like, hey, I cooked that squash. So I go over there and get a plate of it. and I just eat in silence. Because you know when like something's real good and you're just locked in. Like she was like, you didn't even say it was good. Are you good over there? And it was my first time having it. Gotcha. And I was like telling my grandpa, because he's the one that gave me all the native history. I'm like, man, that was good. And he's like, yeah, like that's all I grew up eating was, you know, those type of squash. And it's something simple, but you do get that feeling. Like it felt good when I have a simple meal and it's like, oh, well, this is some deer I hunted for. This is veggies from the garden. And this is some like local this or dairy or whatever it may be for me. And it's like, you wouldn't think it'd be so impactful. But then when you do see someone, like if you see a car drive by and they've got McDonald's bags in their car, you're like, that's unreal. Like no wonder they look mad driving. Like they're eating nothing but cancer. So it's
literally, bro. Like processed food. Like I try my best to stay away from it. But it's one of those things, bro. I think it's important to have like a sacred exchange with your food, because it's not just food, it's fuel.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because our bodies are literally what's the word? Like mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? Like we got some conditioned just to eat, but it's like we're supposed to be eating to live. We're supposed to be eating to have energy. Supposed to be eating to, you know, heal, that types of things. So like herbs. Like I like to drink herbal tea in the AM. You know what I mean? Like burdock root. That's a good herb for increasing iron in your body.
Burdock?
Yeah, burdock root.
Okay.
And like really what these herbs do is it just allows your body to like do what it's naturally supposed to be doing, more so than it like healing your body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a car, I mean, it can run normally, but if you have those like smooth fluids throughout, then it's running better.
Exactly.
On the burdock root, is that something you get in a powder already, or do you get the root and you mash it up?
It just depends, bro. It depends.
What do you like?
You can you said
what do you like to do with it? Like, is it root or powder?
Man, so I like to get it as what's the word? Fresh as I can. So like there's a place called Cafe 420. Okay. They have like a whole bunch of herbs and stuff like that, and they'll have like literally the actual herb. You can just put it. So like the way I brew tea is I'll get a pot, I'll put some water in it, and then I'll get like a glass container, and then I'll put my herbs in there with some water, and then I'll put that in the pot itself and let that stew is that the word? Steep.
Yeah.
I let that steep for a couple minutes, and then
but you like to have the two containers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to kind of like separate it, because
then it's not just that hot water in it.
Exactly.
It's kind of in it, but it's different water that's getting heated by that.
Yeah,
I got you.
That way you don't get any contaminants from like the pot itself and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But usually like once it turns color, that's when I'll take it off the heat and I'll just put something on top and let it steep some more, and I'll just drink it for the day.
What type of water? I know it's specific.
Water.
Yeah.
Spring water.
Okay. And then, so how do you keep it sacred? Mm-hmm. Like, is it just mentally for you that you have a moment of thanks when you are eating? Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, is it something minimal, or do you have to be in a certain position? Like, how do you keep it sacred?
I would say just first being intentional with what I'm eating. Mm-hmm. So, like, especially when I'm cooking and stuff.
Okay.
Like, say, so for me, a while ago, like I dealt with like dandruff and stuff like that.
Okay.
So good herbs for that is like rosemary. What else? Rosemary. That's the only one that's coming to me right now.
And you did that as in a tea or just in your normal cooking?
Everything.
So just increased rosemary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it helped. It really helped, you know. And
bro, yeah, because we all deal with stuff like that. And instead of thinking of like what medicine I should take, it's obviously better for rosemary.
Exactly.
And rosemary is like a super plant. Because I would use it on my temples for migraines, or
like the oil, huh?
Yeah, because even if you're just holding the plant, it's gonna start oiling, and then smelling it or throwing it in a tea or something. It's got way more uses than that, but it's kind of interesting that the herbs are so strong.
Man, I love it, bro.
So you got being intentional with like what ingredients and things, and then what else? Because I'm just really curious.
No, for sure. So yeah, definitely intentional, like what I'm eating. And then from there, just, you know, saying grace, thanking the universe for the food, God for the food. And like, you know, speaking affirmations over the food is what I'll do. I started to do recently, like
out loud,
you know, or like just how I'm praying or how you would pray, whatever the case is, like, you know, thank you for healing me. Thank you for providing me.
Got you. Yeah. Because they say like talk to the water and stuff like that.
Exactly. Water has memory, bro.
Oh, shoot. It's crazy because then you start thinking of the little stuff like I was on a podcast and I was talking about when I'm walking my dogs, I see worms on the street that got knocked down from the rain. You got to pick them up and put them back in the grass. Gotcha. And my wife's the one that told me to like even look for that. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like something that little connects with so many details. Yeah. Because then you're using a certain type of water. You're speaking affirmations. You have stuff on your mirror to remind yourself every day. 100%. You have ways to block those negative thoughts instead of just waking up and just like thinking the world's over. Yeah. And it's crazy that like once you start making small changes, it's all the way around. Because I'm sure you have better interactions in the world, the better you feel inside. Yeah. Because I feel like for the most part, I don't run into confrontation. Mm-hmm. And we're in sales and we still don't. Mm-hmm. Most people are cool or the interactions are smooth. And I think that's just a reciprocation of like how you're treating yourself. Exactly. So it's pretty interesting because I wasn't into that. I mean, I didn't think I thought like kicking it was treating yourself good. And it's like, no, I need to think of what I'm eating or think of what I'm consuming as far as media or conversations or locations or energy exchanges, just all those things. So besides diet, what are other things that got you more, I would just say more like intentional all the way around? Like what got you more locked into that? Because that's a big deal, you know, the sage and the good thoughts. It goes a long way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. And it definitely starts with your thoughts, you know, your subconscious thoughts, which like we have more power over than we think. Okay. Because a lot of times, like we'll think like, oh, you know, all these thoughts in my head, like why am I thinking that? But it's like a lot of times you can pick up energy from other people's thoughts. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you have thoughts like, why did I think that? You know, and it won't be your thought literally. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us to train our thought, train our body, train our minds to think, you know, however it is that we want to think. You know, if you want to think positive, just focus on more positive thoughts. And so,
which seems simple, but very hard. Yeah. For some, until you get consistent with it. Cause there's days I struggle with it as well, but it's crazy that it is just simple. Yeah. It's like, no, I don't think about like what I have to do. Think of what I get to do. There's just little mindset shifts.
100%, bro. And now it's something I struggle with too. You know what I'm saying? Like just, but that's the thing though. We're supposed to have those thoughts and those feelings and those emotions so we can know what to do with them.
Like how to navigate.
Exactly.
Because then you're just like kind of moving through numb if you never got one more of the opposite.
100%, bro. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But to answer your question though, like, what also has helped is just like meditation, journaling, just, finding like different things that I can do to, are you familiar with the term like inner child?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Like, yeah. Different things to like help.
I've got an inner child book, really? A little daily book.
That's dope.
Where it's every date and you can just flip to it.
Okay. Yeah. Is that like what, like,
affirmations in it?
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And then I have one for just men. Yeah. The men one's cool. Yeah. The inner child one was from some group counseling I did at this place called Green Shoe, which is a pretty cool place. You do group therapy for a week.
Gotcha.
And it's local.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. It was the first time I sat somewhere for a week since I was in like high school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, because especially in our business of jumping around, it's like you almost pride yourself on being as mobile as possible. It's pretty cool and freeing. Yeah. So to be told that I need to be somewhere just for my own mental health for 40 hours one week, I was like, I almost couldn't fathom being somewhere 8 to 5 for 5 days.
Right.
And this was like a couple years ago.
You felt like
I was like, no way I can do that again. And then I did it and was really grateful because you're so detached that you can focus up. But a lot of that was on inner child stuff. And then at the end, the mom of the group, because it's just random people in the group. I think it was like 6 of us.
Okay.
Bought us all a copy of that book. Man. But yeah, it's a pink book. You can look it up. Okay. And it's just ones with affirmations daily. Yeah. It's pretty nice.
No, I love that, bro. Like right now, that's one thing I'm big on. It's just healing that inner child because, like we all, well, I'm not gonna say we all, but I had my own traumas that I had to deal with growing up and stuff like that, and how it manifested into me being an adult. Now I'm realizing that a lot of things could have been prevented had I, addressed those head on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important for myself. Man.
What's something that stands out to you when you recognize that? Is it like your reaction to something and you're like, oh, I've reacted similar ways to a certain thing, or like how do you notice something's affecting you? Because for the longest, I didn't know the trauma was leading to my reactions or how I dealt with certain stuff. Like, is there certain times that stood out? Like for me, when I look back, it was like, oh, it's fights with my significant other that are unnecessary. And I'm like, why am I bugging? But it's like, no, it's more than that. It's something this, deeper. This, and this. Yeah. Like that was what made me recognize it. But was there something specific that, cause you don't just stumble upon like, oh, I need to heal my inner child. Like that's not, you just stumble across. Yeah. Especially our age group and being a guy. I don't think so. I don't think you stumble on that.
It's definitely progression, bro. It's definitely progression because, you know, as a man, you think you're good. There's nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? But
I always thought other people had it worse. So like I didn't have a reason to think something was wrong.
Dang, that's crazy.
That was forever though. Someone would say I have anxiety or I have this, and I'd be like, oh well, they must like. I can't say I have anxiety because like I eat every day. Like my concept of being okay was so different, and I was pretty well off too as far as like always had enough and safe and things, but not super spoiled or anything. But I always thought the people that like had trauma, like it had to be like real bad stuff, like crazy stuff happened in the family or bad experiences, like going to jail or something like that. Like I always thought it was something bad something that was trauma, not how someone talked to you over and over for years, and then it eventually wired your brain to react a certain way when someone's doing something.
Man, that's interesting though, bro, because I've seen or I've heard like your trauma is whatever your trauma is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no levels.
There's no comparison. Like me, let's just say, you know, a small thing like me losing a cat at 3 years old could be a way smaller or bigger comparison to somebody that, you know, may have lost a whole an arm or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I know
but it could affect. No, it's random, but it's crazy because the person that lost the cat, it could still be affecting them like hardcore as an adult. Yeah. And now when I do find myself reacting a certain way, you can check it really quick. Like, oh, whoa, I'm freaking out. Like, calm down. To where, I don't know. Like I said, growing up, I just didn't think. I thought it had to be really bad. So I don't know. Cause
I could relate to you though. You know what I'm saying? As far as feeling like I'm ungrateful for feeling bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Man, that makes me speak of that group counseling, bro. Cause they were really cool, by the way. Like it was a really nice experience, especially for me because I do it now with so many people I'm close with, like yourself. I can be so open, but growing up, like I was super closed off, only with the friends. And still, I don't give too much away unless they're like real close. Cause
when's your birthday?
November 25th.
Okay.
Yeah. What is it matching up?
Well, that's
Sagittarius. Yeah. Okay. Our early Sag.
Okay.
I think, yeah, because most Sages are, no. It's normal because the early December, they go into something else.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just like to know.
Yeah. What about you?
Cancer.
Cancer.
June 22nd.
Dang, coming up.
Yeah, next week.
My grandpa's a Cancer too.
Nice.
My wife says that's someone that's like really like headstrong. Like when they make up their mind, it's like that's it. But not in a negative. Just like they're usually good at making those decisions. So I don't know. Does that resonate with you or no?
No, 100%.
Okay.
No, I think it makes me think about like how I was talking about plant-based earlier. Like once my mind was made up, I'm like, good.
Which is crazy because in the beginning, I feel like I fell short more until I just changed my mindset. Like if I said I wanted to eat a certain way, you would make mistakes. But if you're like, no, I'm not eating that way, then it's like, I'm just not eating that way. I remember I was training for a fight and I went to somewhere I shouldn't have went for energy. I mean, I was at Sunset because some friends were celebrating a birthday, but during the day, I'm more of a daytime guy because I don't like being in all those places. So it made sense to go during the day, but I was just sitting there with almonds and spring water.
Nice.
And they're all drinking and I'm like, no, I can't have that because I like got to weigh a certain weight and I can't even drink that. Like, what is that? So it's funny that you can just make a mindset shift. And that's probably with the trauma stuff too, because you can let it just guide you and get a hold of you and make you act a certain way, or you can, I don't know, use it as fuel.
Exactly.
Because I feel like it's helped me be more conscious on how I want to treat people. And I feel you're the same way. Like
100%.
You're one of the nicest guys I've come across. I've only known you like a year.
Yeah.
But you're real genuine, and it seems like you give that same energy to anyone you meet that's, in a position to receive it.
No, I'm definitely like very intentional with the energy I give out, and it's interesting. Like as of recent times, I've been more intentional with like not giving out too much energy because that's gotta have boundaries as well. You know what I mean? But no, I definitely.
What does that look like when you have boundaries? Like, what does that look like?
Man, so really, I would say it just starts with defining it for yourself. You know, like making sure that you don't feel drained at the end of the day through whatever interactions you have or whatever the case is. And then from there, just establishing like essentially like your boundaries around that point. It's like, okay, you know, this is how much energy I have to give for the day. I don't need to give up that much or anything past that, because if I do, then it's going to be hurting myself. Because I believe that like self-love is like our first purpose here on this planet. Is to love ourselves fully and to, you know, the greatest extent. So like boundary plays a big part in that. And so if we don't have boundaries set in place, that's when, you know, that self-love can get disrupted. So yeah, bro, I just that I feel like did I answer your question?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. No, just say whatever. That's what I like, is the realness. But no, something I was curious about is like when you do feel drained, what are some of the recharges that you do that help you? Because I don't like, it's so crazy. Like when you ask somebody what their favorite thing to do is, or like, since we're on diet, like, have you ever asked a grown man what his favorite fruit is and you don't know what his favorite fruit is? You're like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, you don't eat nothing. Like, it's crazy that people don't know those things about themselves. So, like, to recharge, what is something for you?
Man, so recently, you know those little scooters, the little birds?
Yeah.
I'll just ride around over around Scissortail Park area and just ride around on those.
In the evening time?
Yeah.
They're pretty fun. Yeah. When I saw you at that basketball court, I was doing that a little bit because I was downtown.
Yeah.
What else?
Hooping. I love hooping.
Have you been doing the early bird hooping?
Yeah. 6 a.m.
Shout out. I respect y'all.
No, that's love.
That stuff's hard.
It is. It can be.
It's like not hard to move. Like you can physically do it. Mm-hmm. For me, I really suck at getting up. I'm like, no. I don't know if it's a benefit or if I'm just loving myself. By not getting up, I'm like, no, I like this. Like, this makes me happy. No, seriously, like, I talk about that with a lot of loved ones and friends and things, is like, no, this is okay, or flipping the mindset. Even when something negative happened, like you pop your tire and you're like, well, that tire only had like 2 months left, so let me switch that out.
Exactly.
Where you couldn't get real negative about it.
Exactly.
Besides hooping and riding those birds, which is fun. That shit's dope. I don't know, like you said, meditating, like, are you one of those silent meditators where you're sitting in a room, or is meditating riding the bird and you're just going through your thoughts?
Yeah. Man, so I think, or how I would describe meditation, bro, is just anytime you feel connected to God for an intentional period. Okay. That's what I would define as meditation, because like at first, like I struggled with it because
would your mind be racing?
Yeah, my mind just be all over the place.
And then I think I'm like not doing it. You know, you're like, well, why are you thinking of so much?
Right. And no, for real, because it be so many.
And it'll bounce around, and I'm like really stunned. Like if someone were to see this on a screen, they'd think you're a psycho for that minute.
Right.
Where it's like, why are you thinking of 7 things? It's like,
I can't help it.
Yeah. And then you're thinking of like what the person just said to you. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the 7 things you were thinking of.
Exactly. And that, man, you just described my brain, bro.
Yeah. I thought it was normal, but it's funny. Like I met my wife, and she was one of the first people that taught me a lot about myself. My other relationships did as well, but I feel like we're too young to where it just didn't hit the same.
Gotcha.
To where like as I was able to like mentally mature, her lessons made more sense. So those other people probably were teaching them well also, but I just couldn't receive it.
Man,
so
that's big, bro.
Now to see them, it's like, oh, okay, no, I need to not be as scattered. Or like something she brought up, it was our first time doing some international travel, and I didn't know how the train system worked.
Gotcha.
And I got a little panicky, like not like I was freaking out and dropping stuff, but just a little more unnerved, not being confident. And it's okay to not know something and still be confident. You're not trying to fake it. You're just like, no, we will work through whatever we're going to work through, however little or how big.
Yeah.
But there were moments like that where I would get scattered for a second. And then I started going more on the solution mindset and stopped being able to do that. So I think it's crazy to even see that change in yourself. So you're talking about intentional moments with God, and that's your meditating. Like, no telling how long that transition was from the crazy thinking all the way to, oh, now I'm getting these certain moments.
Right.
Like, that's got to be months of training.
Man, yeah.
Mental training, years.
Like, cause like I'll intentionally like sit down and just like calm my mind down and like just truly focus on like either like I'll find like a YouTube meditation or
it's crazy how soothing those are.
Yeah.
Where you're listening to them even just doing affirmations or not giving you guidance, but like
it's kind of like holding you hand,
kind of walking you through it.
Yeah.
It helps. Like I even listened to the same one for the longest in the morning when I would be doing my stretching.
Nice.
And it really does help.
Yeah.
Like you think it doesn't, but it really does. And you're like, no, like I'm actually not upset or I don't feel a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and you said, you know, as men, we're not thinking we need to do those things. So is something else that you do since you are so self-focused and how you should be? Do you find yourself wanting to not make other people do that, but like inform them that they need to be doing that? Do you sometimes feel like you're kind of bugging?
Man, so
and I'm speaking for myself, kind of. Like, I'll be like, no, bro, you shouldn't be eating that. Like, you can live how you want to live, but you shouldn't be doing this. Like, even though it's not really our job to dictate what they're doing, do you feel yourself like compelled to push that, or do you just see them as like, hey, that's where they're at?
Nah, bro, it's interesting you say that. Like, when I first was going down that path of like plant-based and things like that, I was very like gung-ho, like you shouldn't be eating that, don't eat that, all those different things. But I've learned the best way to do it is just live by example. Like if you ask me, I'll tell you, or, you know, if I feel compelled to like put that out there, you know, hey, this is the tea I'm drinking today, this is what it's doing for me, then I'll do that. But outside of that, bro, like you'll start to test those boundaries when you try to like convince people or like, cause basically you can't like how that the old adage where you can't you can only bring a horse to the water, you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So yeah, that's
living by example is huge.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Because then like it speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? Because really, I mean, that's all the words. Like I don't even have to tell you. You can see it.
Yeah, because I've definitely noticed like when I go with my dad and his friends and we're going to like hunt or something like that, they're like, oh no, Zach's not gonna eat that. Like, or no, Zach won't do that. And
they already know.
Yeah, they already know. And it's funny because like I feel like when I was younger and you're just trying to fit in, even though you're independent. I felt like I was real independent as a child growing. I felt like I wasn't like trying to fake it to be in a group or anything, but I was still conforming to some extent.
Yeah.
And then when you start really making up your mind, and for some it may be when they're young. For me, it was when I was a young adult. But when you start making those conscious decisions, it kind of is like fuel for you to keep going too, where you have all these weeks in a row or years in a row of eating well or having your mindset right or thinking positive thoughts about yourself or actually just being happy,
right?
Which most people like forget to do.
Man.
And you're like, oh no, this is easy. It's just like my standards. And then also something I would think of is like when you do fall short, not being too critical also, because I guess you're not going to be perfect.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes I would find myself thinking, oh, you had this long streak, but then you did this, this, and this. It's like, but you got to keep going. And I think sometimes it's just, you go one way too hard. That balance is crazy. I know people say there's not like a balance, but there is in you.
So I think, I love how you describe that, because I think that's how you establish your boundaries is by testing your limits. You know what I mean? So like this too far, I don't feel right going this far or this far. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. 100%, bro. Like you hit on the nail. And that's something that I've been big on too. And like I feel like it's very important for men, especially not to like go off on a tangent, but
no, that's what it's for, because this is where it should go.
Yeah. It's important for us to have those tests, have those areas where we're pushing ourselves to be better. Those spaces where, maybe I'm gonna fast for 7 days of just fruit and vegetables or whatever the case is. Like basically just get you out of your comfortable, position, because like when you get comfortable, that's when you stop growing. You know what I'm saying? And like, at least for myself, like it would be points where I would get comfortable and I would stop progressing. You know what I'm saying? And like for some people, that's cool. I'm not knocking that at all. Like, cause I definitely think that there's a time and place for everything. Yeah. But like I want to be great. Everything that I do. So like I make sure that everything that I'm doing is in alignment with that. And so a part of that is just making sure that I'm consistently testing myself, challenging myself, pushing myself, because I believe we're limitless, bro. Like I don't think we have any limits on this planet. And so just but yeah, I think overall though too, as men, like we should have some type of just like something that makes us uncomfortable so we're able to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Cause you don't like, so I'm always speaking just from kind of my random thoughts. We talked about how our minds work. Yeah. So when I say this perspective, like that's just where it was for that moment. And I always think like, yeah, when you're a kid, you're scared of certain things, so you won't take certain risks. But like, you're always just kind of growing, because like from 11 to 12 is different. 13 to 14 is different. And then some people get to 18 or get out of college in their 20s and then stop trying to just progress. I tell people one of my favorite things is like sucking at something.
Yeah.
Like you would think it wouldn't be that, but I love like when other people are better at something than me and I have to try and catch up or surpass or something like that. Like whether it's a game or a conversation or a skill or whatever it is, it's cool. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like for me, something is like trying random sports. Like I like to play something that someone else likes to play. Like I have a friend in the UK that said, when you come out here next, we're going to play snooker, because that's what I play. And I've never played. Yeah, we would say snooker, but they say snooker. And it's that huge table with all the balls on it. Like it's the huge table that you see. Foosball? No, pool.
Pool?
But the big table.
Okay.
I'll show you. You'll know what I'm talking about. But like there's random stuff that people do. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, but I thought, like, I love to win, right? You want to be great.
Right.
I really resonated with that.
Right.
But like, I don't want to keep winning in certain things, like in business and things like that. Like you have to, because you're keeping profits up and things like that. But like general life stuff, like I don't want to play chess and like always beat the dude I'm playing. Gotcha. Like I like to lose a couple times, and I think it makes me try harder or work harder or be more locked in. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I've noticed that like whether it was playing basketball, like I don't want to beat a team 5-0 over. Like say we're going to 10 and it's 5 games in a row. Like let's split this up. Let me lose a couple.
I feel like you lose interest in it.
Yeah, which you think you wouldn't, because you're seeking like that perfection and you're hitting it. But like I've been playing pool with my brother-in-law, and he's better than me. But then when I play people that aren't better than me, I don't have as much fun.
Gotcha.
Like I'm not happy winning.
So you like competition?
Yeah, and if you're like, even like say we were playing ball against some people and we were just good enough to beat them, or they were just good enough to beat us, it's just more risky. So maybe it's like, not that I don't want to be great, but I want the risk to be high, or I'm not as interested.
Okay.
Like, and I just realized that about myself growing up, because I love to win, but I didn't hate to lose if the other people were like better at that.
Gotcha.
Whether it was sports or something else, like I always was able to take it as a lesson. Yeah. And I just don't know if that's normal or what, but I think of that like in a few things.
That's interesting. I think one thing I'm picking up big, bro, is like you're very like self-aware, and I feel like that's a superpower. These days, just be very aware of yourself and like what you like, what you don't like, what you appreciate, what you don't appreciate, that type of thing. Because at the end of the day, that's what determines your happiness, your joy on this planet. Is just like what do you want? You know what I mean? So.
What flipped it for you where you were more self-aware? Like you get out of college and then you're working on your diet even more, and then you go mental, or what like flipped the switch for you?
I would say like the diet was the starter to it, but after that it was just a holistic journey
Okay.
Like how they said, mind, body, and soul. Like it all just went, hand in hand with each other. As I started to.
And you hung around people that were like that, or?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I started to train myself
because you have to be around those type of people. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go on your own journey, but you're gonna be a source of your environment.
More people
yeah. When you see that people are more energy in tune, then like it makes you be more okay with it.
Yeah.
When someone's like, no, I feel that, you're moving the right way. You're like, oh, well, I kind of feel that too. Or, yeah, I think that about this person, so I need to hang out with them. I feel like it's interesting how you build that. I don't know. It kind of, I guess it goes to those boundaries that you're talking about, because I have a lot of connections and I try to focus on not giving out too much energy as well. But you kind of have different relationships with a bunch of people.
Exactly.
Like we're conscious of how far you can go with each person, I guess. I never really thought of it as the 100%. Boundaries, but maybe it's something you set mentally.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so.
What do you think about like when you do hit those dark times where like stuff's just not going well on the business side or personal life? Is it the same meditation and things like that help you reset onto it, where you're like, no, this is just like another lesson? Or how do you not self-sabotage when things is just going too bad?
Man, that's a great question, bro. It's something I'm still working on, but
because you don't seem like and I only know you so much, but you don't seem like someone that would come up with a bunch of excuses or sit in the darkness too long, where I know people that will. Is that true? Is that a good assumption, or do you think you get stuck sometimes?
So I would say yes and no.
Okay.
So I would say yes because, excuse me, I'll start off with no. I'll say no because like I experienced a lot of, I guess like trauma and like, what's the word? Like challenges and hurdles like earlier on in life. So I'll be transparent. My mother, she had transitioned when I was like 7. And then from there, I had dealt with, like how I was saying, the ACL surgery. So we talking about not being able to walk, you know what I'm saying? Like those types of things.
Yeah.
And I think it really like numbed my brain to just like everything to a degree. So it was tough because now like I'm having to like retrain and re-establish like, emotions and
feelings
and all that, just from, all of that transpired earlier on, you know what I'm saying? And so
and it can numb you out.
Yeah, it definitely did. Definitely did. And, dang, I did not mean to get off track.
No, that you're on track.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Bro, this is how I operate. Like you're on track. This is how we would talk normally. You're right on track because I'm talking about like sitting in that dark time. Right. And you're talking about being in it when you're a kid and getting numb. So it probably took you a second to recognize what a dark time was again, because you were only focused on like numbing through it.
Yeah.
So like I keep going.
No, it's crazy.
Elaborate. Let me know.
It's crazy because like
as much as you want to, you don't gotta just.
Yeah.
I want you to be as open as you want.
I got you. And I appreciate that.
For sure, bro.
But yeah, it was one of those things, bro. Like it kind of was like a hidden superpower to a degree, but at the same time, I recognized that it wasn't healthy because, like, yes, I could get through, the toughest times, but at that same time, wasn't able to relate to the people that I love how I should have. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just a balancing act that I had to heal from.
Okay.
And so, like nowadays, when I experience like anything that affects me or anything that like will get me like in that downtime, like, I'll sit in it for a second. I'll just feel the emotions of it. I'm like, okay, what is this teaching me? Because I'm at the point now where it's like everything is teaching me. Everything is teaching me. This conversation we're having is teaching me.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for it. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And likewise, bro. Like, I was so grateful you even wanted me to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I thought of you like early. I was like, for sure.
And so, yeah, bro, just like getting to a point where like I'm the student like of everything. You know what I'm saying? And like
instead of the why me, like I told you, like that's what I sense from you is that you won't sit and just like let that dictate your future. Because even times from my side, speak just on the, excuse me, the business side. It's a lot of ups and downs, even though it's consistent. Only people that are in it will understand that you'll have a level of consistency where you're hitting the income levels that you need or want or whatever your goals are, but there's still an up and down trajectory. Like, you go like, and when I say up and down, it could be just different stages of the transaction. It could be the up and down in the conversation, trying to close them the first time, but then keeping them closed the whole time until you close the deal, like officially. So there's all these moments of up and down. And I don't know if people that didn't take it as lessons could work through those hurdles, because sometimes, like you said, on your first deals, you had the buyer back out at the end and then you didn't get your 10K and then you got to move another one and it was a referral. So you get a referral, which is huge in the real estate market. The day after. Literally. And a referral is one of the best types of business. And then you still can flip it. So you get that money off the deal. So you're like, oh no, the fruits of my labor are here because I stayed on it and kept working, kept going. And I think that it takes a certain type of person. So that's why I think I've been more and more happy to work and talk with people like yourself. Because it's like, oh, no wonder we're kind of on the same type of time, because it takes the same type of skills to get through these moments. And then the best people I've met, or the ones that I resonate with the most, always tend to have that similar mindset of going through some struggles growing up, whether they're low or high. There's no judgment on like the severity, but they pushed through and they took their blessings and their lessons, and then they try to be the best version of themselves. And that seems so beautiful to me, where I didn't think, even 3-4 years ago, I wasn't even thinking of humans like that. Like I wasn't even thinking of a person like that. I'm like, no, that's my friend. Like that dude, yeah, he's like a brother to me. That person I kind of know, they're cool. But now I can see someone I don't really know, and that interaction, even if it's 30 seconds, like I'm like, that person, like I appreciate them. Like that was cool. Because you don't know who's speaking through who, or you don't know what's happening for a reason. You don't know if that person cut you off because you were supposed to stop, because if you would have kept going, you would have got hit by something. Like there's all these divine things that go on. 100%. And I think when you try to over question or set in that why me or something like that, you're blocking a lot of that too. If you take one L on the real estate transaction, then don't move forward anymore. Like you're letting that dictate your future, instead of like, well, it took one no, well, I'll take 10 more no's because then I'll get 2 yeses. Or whatever it may be. Like, bro, I appreciate the mindset, because that's what I wanted to talk to you about the most was that, because even though we haven't spent a ton of time together, like our hours are really like high value. Like we've probably only talked 3 or 4 hours. No, if you're including business, probably 5 hours total since I've known you. But I feel like I've known you years, and it's only been 1 year. Bro. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy you said it. I was thinking that same thing as we've been sitting here. Like, I don't even know how long we've been talking, but it's felt like we've been talking for a while. But no, I definitely appreciate conversations like these where I'm able to just build and heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a healing conversation. And I think that that's one thing that is big. You know, it's very big, because like to be able to, one, just attract somebody that's on a similar like frequency as you, but then to be able to rap, you know, that's how I like to say rap, be able to rap back and forth and just have like a meaningful conversation, like stuff like that. I'm just abundantly grateful for now.
Oh, me too. You know? Yeah. I think it's nice to be able to get value from each other, but not feel like one's giving and one's taking. It's like, no, just here's what I have, take what you can from it. I mean, it's just pretty impressive. Man, switching back to the business side though, what do you, because I know you're such a hustler, like what do you got going now on the investment side that's like what you're working on? Like, I got to get 5 deals a month, 10 deals a month, and I got to do X amount of day trades. Like, what are you working on?
Man, so I took a break from day trading. I took a week-long break just to get my mind right.
A week, and that's a long time. That's crazy to think.
Nah, for real.
That's how you know it's a grind.
Yeah, literally.
Seriously, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. But yeah, I took a week from it just because like I had to get my mind right because it's so like you have to like take what you can get with trading, bro. Like it's like you can look at it as gambling, or you could look at it as risk management, risk management, and maintaining your portfolio.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because like these things, like the day trade, like literally, like you can make thousands of dollars in seconds, bro. Like literally, like seconds. It fluctuates so quick, and you have to be so in tune with your emotions and your decision making because, like, literally, like we're talking about clicks. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally click to buy it, click to sell. You made your money for the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mental thing. It's a very big mental thing, and I had to like take a break from it just to gather my thoughts, gather my energy because I started to get a little lost in it a little bit. You know what I mean? And I had to get back on track, and so. But yeah. As far as like goals, I kind of like to keep my goals to myself.
No, I don't want your numbers. I just like. I guess I just mean more of like, I'm going to increase my wholesale. I'm going to increase buying some rentals. I'm kind of moving into some flips too. Gotcha. Like just kind of what you're working on. Cause I'm just curious myself. Cause I always see you grinding.
Yeah.
And so just share what you want or don't share at all, whatever you want.
No, I got you. Man, so I would say the biggest thing for me is just developing my foundation. That's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's like figuring out like, okay, what are the main things I want to do? And just, channeling those. And so
like what can you get the most return on as far as actions?
Yeah. And what do I enjoy too? At the same time. Yeah. It's funny. I actually had a moment this week like with wholesale. I was like, you know what? I enjoy this. I enjoy like talking to people. I enjoy like being able to like do the numbers aspect of it too. And
do you like talking to people through the sales process? Like not cold calling, but like when you are talking to someone to try and wrap them up over the phone or something, do you enjoy that too?
Yeah, okay. I do. And like, I think what helps big is just being intentional with your conversations. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of times it can get easier to be so caught up in like money versus person.
How do you stay intentional, like without going off track? Like how do you stay relationship building and rapport building, but not like, oh yeah, your dog, Fido is awesome. Like how do you navigate that? Because that's hard. Yeah, and that takes real skill.
No, it does. Man, I would say shout out to Coach. You know what I'm saying? Tez, he definitely like just doing like one-on-ones and like training and stuff like that. It's been very super helpful with just building that skill up. Because it's like a muscle. You know what I mean? And
so they say something, you don't instantly react. You're like able to, okay, yeah, that's moving the sale. Okay, that's not moving the sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But still like, caring about what they say.
Right. Because, like the analogy where it's like you're going down a line and sometimes it'll go this way, but
sometimes it go that way.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, I love that analogy because it can happen quick. And the good thing is being able to still use that.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying like they say fishing and you're like, yeah, just like we're trying to reel this deal in. Like you're not dad joking, but being able to bring that back up later, that rapport does come up. Like there is the business rapport where I'm explaining my process and it's building rapport naturally. But there's also like genuine being able to call that guy back and connect on something different. Yeah. Because you'll get the business side, but then also you got something else too. And like it may be someone just telling you something you need to hear or teaching you something you needed to be taught or challenging you a certain way to where you're like, oh, when that objection comes up again, I'm a little more prepared. Because sometimes they can be talking and you're just like, I don't know how I can help you, which luckily doesn't happen a lot because worst case, you're just finding answers, not in the conversation, but like if it's something you really can't answer, you can figure it out and get back to them. But I think that's a huge skill because anyone can talk to people. But I used to find myself like wanting to respond too fast or halfway listening. Okay. I try to say I'm actively listening, but even now I wouldn't say I'm where I want to be. But
it's a skill in itself.
It's a skill in itself, but I'm successful at listening to people. So it's me being critiqued because I want it to be a certain level. But how do you find yourself like listening, responding constructively where you're moving the sale along? Because I don't think people understand like calling someone and then wrapping their home up for cash over the phone and building a good enough relationship that you can outsource and get the deal done takes a lot of managing emotions. Right. So like, how do you keep that in check with the seller and everything? Like, what skills you think?
I would say the first thing is just active listening, like you had said. That's like the biggest component of it, in my opinion.
You ever write notes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
I always thought I was funny for like, I'm like, no, I got to write their name. Got to write what they said.
Yeah, no, I have to. But I take notes on everything because like we was talking about earlier, my mind will be so scattered to the point where like I'll forget something we just talked about a couple minutes ago. So that's why like my notes is everything. If I lost my notes, I don't know what I'll do.
So when you journal, is it in your phone or is it in a journal?
I actually write it down.
Okay.
Yeah, pen and paper.
Okay.
Just because like I feel like it's more like sacred that way than just being on my phone with it. But yeah, as far as like conversational wise, bro, I would say like active listening, taking notes, and then
would you say you have to really focus on being able to be yourself in the right way? Like where you're not trying to talk differently than you would talk normally, but not being unprofessional, but like being your personality? Yeah,
I would say it's interesting you say that. Like I would say just like, yeah, just being yourself 100% and not like thinking too hard on it.
Doesn't mean you'll like say the same joke to a seller that I would say to you, but like not not changing your tone. Like it sounds funny because you do want to mirror in certain certain instances or have the right tonality. Like I'm empathetically listening right now, and you're doing all these things. But it's also cool when you can be yourself, but it's becoming your sales process. Gotcha. So it's easier on you. Yeah, it's becoming easier on you because you're not analyzing the deal, working through the conversation, and trying to act a certain way. Right. To where you're balancing all these things. You're like, hey, give me a few seconds. I'm looking this up. Oh, this, and this correct? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, where are you at? Okay, price-wise here. You can start working through it. And it's probably how I relate to your day trading mentality where you needed to keep your mind sharp because it's seconds that you can make thousands. Right. Because it's similar in real estate, whether it's off market or on market. You can do all these conversations, but then the money's made like quickly. Right. It comes with a lot of work before and after the sale to close it. Yeah. But the actual money part of it, it's like a decision. Yes, I'll do that. Then once the yes, I do that, then it started working through the steps. So I don't know. I think something that changed me was that confidence building from reps. But I feel like you got it so fast. I feel like a year's not that long to be as good as you are at your sales.
Man, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'm from the outside looking in, and I think that's even better for someone that's not always around. Yeah. Because I'm only getting snippets. Yeah. Whether I'm talking to you or seeing something that you're a part of, I'm like, okay, that takes skill. What do you think fast tracked you as far as not just the training? Because I know you had good mentors and all of that, but was it success because you're closing a lot of deals, or was it a mix because like you just weren't taking no for an answer? You're okay to get creative. Like what kept you locked in on the real estate side? Because you took a break from day trading, you took a break from this, but on the real estate, it seems like you've been head first.
Man, I actually had took a break from real estate as well. Okay. It was like a couple of months, but I would say like what keeps me locked in is just knowing that, bro. Knowing that like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, like this is it.
Yeah, 100%. And like that's what just keeps me pushing. That's what pushes me. That's what drives me. Just knowing that like, I'm exactly where I need to be at. As long as I continue to do what I need to do at a high level, I'll be all right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not like, so I do have like a vision of like where I see myself and stuff like that. But also just maintaining the balance of like being present and just
living in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because it's simple to say, like you need to be, I'm practicing being present, or you need to be more present. Yeah. But in the moment when you start to get a little scatterbrain and you dial it in and you just feel the wind hit you and you just sit there for a second and actually soak it in, you're like, okay, that's a win. Because you can get caught up in it, and you do have to be hateful. You got to be happy with the day by day, because you'll look up and a year's gone by, or you look up and months have gone by, or us talking in a couple hours goes by. Right. But if we weren't being present, those moments wouldn't mean as much. Mm-hmm. It's like a reason why I stopped taking so much pictures. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, I just stopped taking so many pictures of like things I was doing. Now, of course, like there's ones I like to do for marketing or for personal, or if I'm on a trip over in a certain national park or something, I want to get at least one photo just for myself so I can remember what it smelled like. Mm-hmm. But I used to be like, well, let me get 20 photos. Now it's like, let me get one, put my phone in the car, and then go hike for 3 hours. Right. To where I don't know. I'm just blessed and grateful that I like that. Mm-hmm. Because no matter your age, you can be present at any age, but I'm glad I found it when I did. You know, I'm starting my 30s and I'm the happiest I've ever been. Yeah. And I feel like I'm in one of the best parts of my life. Mm-hmm. And I remember the hard times, and you're like, dang, this actually like came out the end of it. Right. So it's interesting to become your own.
It's perspective.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm sure you've seen the same ups and downs through yourself, and now you're like, no, every day I wake up, I'm pretty happy. Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's success right there.
You think about the word enjoy. Enjoy. Mm-hmm. Being in the moment, it's appreciating everything for everything. Mm-hmm. And there was like a podcast that Steve Harvey did a little bit ago. Okay. And he was talking about how like when you think about the worst time that you ever been through, you've always gone through that. Or you gotten through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it wasn't the end. It didn't stop there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Well, shoot, bro. I appreciate you coming on. Yes, Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We